Researchers at Boston University studied the brains of deceased former NFL players and found that 110 out of the 111 brains studied showed signs of CTE. The brains were donated by the families of former players who dealt with issues such as depression, memory loss, and some that committed suicide. One of the researchers said the study showed an overwhelming link between CTE and football. We're joined once again by Greg Jennings. Shannon, let me start with you. How do you feel about this?
I mean, over the past couple of years, I've learned a lot about CTEs. And even as I learn more, I'm really surprised at how high this number actually is. We know more today than we did yesterday, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And we'll know more tomorrow, 5 years from tomorrow, 10 years, than we actually know today. And I'm glad the NFL is doing research, glad they're trying to make an inherently dangerous game safer, but there's only so much you can do when you have big men running into bigger men at a high rate of speed. Ligaments tear, bones snap, and obviously when you brains are going to jar, which is going to lead to concussions. My concern is what some of the owners have said. One, Jerry Jones, last year in March, he said that it's absurd. He used the word absurd to think that the data shows a clear link between football and CTE. Now, the guy's named Jeff Miller, who's the senior vice president of health and safety for the NFL, went before Congress. And one of the congressmen asked him directly, is there a link? He said yes. So what concerns me is some of these owners, because Jerry Jones is not the only owner that thinks like this. But Skip, even though I know what I know now, if I could go back, I would still play football again, because it gave me an opportunity to do something for my family I'm not necessarily sure I would have been able to do. So whatever happens to me down the road, Skip, I might have memory loss, and I might suffer some of these debilitating symptoms that these former players suffered from. But don't feel sorry for me, because I don't feel sorry for myself.
I agree with that, what you just said. I think for me, it's staggering. The numbers are staggering, absolutely staggering. And as a former player, if you were to ask me, Greg, would you do it all over again? My answer would be exactly the same. I would. As a parent, as a father of a 4-year-old son, if you were to ask me, Greg, are you going to encourage him to play football? Absolutely not. Really? Will I support him? Yes. But when I saw
So if he does come to you at 10 or so and say, I want to play organized, I want to play helmets and pass, you're going to say, I don't like it, but
I will say I don't like it, but I will support him. I will always support him. I will try to steer him to something else.
You won't say absolutely not.
I won't say absolutely not, because I'm not a dream killer. And so but for me, what's jumped out to me was there was a 23-year-old. That was the youngest age on this study. 23 years old. That's not a long time of playing football. Now, for a career, up to the oldest age was 89. But for me, when you look at a 23-year-old and you look at how we've all played some type of contact sport. When you look at what it takes to acquire CTE, and you look, man, this is a 23-year-old. He couldn't have gone through so much or endured so many hits. It didn't take that long. That's the scary part about it. It doesn't take that long. And so for me as a parent, if I see that this is out there and this is a possibility, if you were to ask me or you were to tell me, Greg, your son is going to get in this car, he's going to get in an accident, and he's going to end up with CTE, would either one of you put your child in that position? No. But what trumps that is the opportunity that it provides for someone who's in a impoverished situation or their family just hasn't experienced that financial boost. They're going to take this opportunity and run with it. So these numbers are going to continue to be staggering as long as football is played. In the league, like you alluded to, they're doing everything they possibly can to try to
protect
players, but it doesn't, as long as there's contact, it's not going to happen. And it has nothing, you mentioned owners and it has, I don't even insert anyone else into it, because it's the player's decision to play the sport. And I don't think, even with seeing these numbers, now that I'm out, yes, I'm stacked, but like I said, I would still play. I don't think it's going to stop guys from playing football. It might stop the parents from putting their kids in football, but it's not going to stop old enough gentlemen, young men who can make a decision to say, yes, I want to play, to stop playing football.
I hear everything you both said. You're both eloquent on this, and I appreciate your emotions, and I appreciate your deepest fears when you hear 110 of 111. That's
99%.
What? I appreciate the new awareness. I appreciate all the new safety methods that they're trying to implement, but it's still bigger, stronger, faster. And I still love my National Football League, and I'm going to watch every game like crazy because it's the best game in America.
Yep.
I'll need some NBA too, but this is it. This is it. This is America's game now.
Gladiator sports, Skip.
Okay, here's my problem with this study. And forgive me for coming across as cold-blooded or insensitive, but
You're thinking you're going to say what I'm thinking.
I don't know. Here's what I'm thinking. I've been covering the National Football League for a long time, and over those many years, I've gotten to know many, many, many players, some of whom I keep in touch with. Some are now in their 70s. And over my 13 years on television, I have worked with dozens, which may get into the hundreds, of NFL ex-player analysts. Here we've got Shannon, Greg, Mark Schlereth, and Peanut Tillman, and Ray Lewis, and I can just go on and on. So I'm getting to know more and more. And at ESPN, I knew a whole lot. And I used to stay at a hotel that you know in Bristol, where a bunch of analysts would stay, and we would just hang out because there was not much to do in Bristol, Connecticut. So I got a pretty good feel for a whole bunch of ex-NFL players, and this is the God's truth. I don't know one with any CTE symptom. Not one. Not one. Now, maybe it's too small a sample size, but not one exhibited anything that I knew about deep depression or memory loss or can't stay focused. I saw zero. And a lot of these guys are getting into their 40s and into their 50s. Right. None. Coach Herman Edwards is a close friend of mine. He's up into his 60s now. Yep. Boy, you want to talk about sharp as a tack, both dressing and on air. Yeah. You know, like and he was a high collision cornerback for a long time for the Philadelphia Eagles, started as a rookie.
But you know what, Skip? You also have to take into account, and I'm not going to place this all on the NFL, because I started playing football when I was 10.
Sure.
I got to the NFL before my 22nd birthday. So I was thudding up because I wanted to white. When I was playing Pop Warner,
I believe that you thudded up in high school as much as you did in pro football, right?
Yep. I wanted the white. When I was playing Pee Wee and Pop Warner football, I wanted a white helmet. Because I wanted the red helmet and the blue helmet on my helmet. Because that's when you knew you were doing something.
Absolutely.
Skip, to be fair to the NFL, let's be fair, because we don't know all the extenuating circumstances that some of these players have. With their alcohol, with their drug abuse, where their divorces, where their So I'm going to be totally fair. Because I'm not just going to say, well, this guy had CTE and he didn't have any other thing. No. That's not fair to the NFL. I'm not going to say, well, he played NFL, so he got it in the NFL. You play college football, most times than not, you play at least college football, play high school. But now that we know, I just want the owners to acknowledge that there is a link between CTE and NFL football, and I'm cool, and then let the guys make whatever decision they want to play or not play, leave early or stay late. Let that be on them, but just acknowledge that it's
the biggest
real.
thing is the families, obviously, because
yes,
like you said, as kids are coming up, you get terrified, and the NFL has all of these provisions and safe, but when you send your 10-year-old out to play Pee Wee, maybe they're not being watched as closely.
Bust him up, Junior.
Greg, thanks for joining us. Victor Ortiz joins us next. We'll ask him if Connor has any chance to beat.